guys, great question. I think it's from a young guy. Basically asked me how do you get a six pack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys my top tips for getting a six pack. This works for girls as well if you're looking for a flat tummy. But for guys, predominantly how to get a six pack and the kind of things you need to do for it. If you go back and look over some of my client transformations, you can see that most of the guys that I've transformed, they've built six packs underneath. So just to kind of give you an idea, kind of most people have, apart from some people who have poor genetics to the abdominal area, people have rectus abdominis, they have abs underneath the layer of fat. It's just that the body fat's normally too high for you to even see it. But there's a couple of things you can do. So I'm going to give you the main tips for getting a six pack or for getting a flat tummy. The same thing applies, just guys are obviously going to put on a little bit more mass and thickness in those abs than girls because of your hormones and stuff. You're going to flatten it out more so. So the main thing for abs is obviously diet. You always hear this phrase, diet's made in the kitchen. I had this argument with Jill last week. We were talking about that, abs are made in the kitchen. To a degree, it's true. Your diet needs to be right because your body fat's too high. You're not going to be able to see your abs, so it's irrelevant if there's muscle underneath it. That being said, it's still a fucking muscle. You got to train it the same way as you would in hypertrophy the muscle to grow it. So first thing, as I said, is diet. You need to have low enough levels of body fat for your body to be actually able to see your abs. And this is, through different things like high intensity training, timing your workouts right, so you're doing your weight training first and doing your cardio at the end so that you're tapping into fat stores while you train, working in a calorie deficit, so calculating your maintenance. So if you're around 2,200 maintenance, you probably want to be at that or underneath it, so you're at least in a calorie deficit when you train. When you're training, you'll put your body into a deficit where it'll start utilizing the calories better, and you'll burn more body fat as a result. So getting your body fat levels down is one. That's really easy. It's really simple. It's not easy. It's really simple. You eat less calories, you train harder, and you time your workouts right. It's simple, it's not easy because you got to put it into place. So getting your body fat down is number one. Number two is training them the same as muscle. This is one of these things that I always have an argument with people because you don't need to fucking train abs, it's fine. I was like, you do though. They're still a muscle like the rest of your body. That's like saying I want my arms to be bigger and I'm not going to train them. It's the same thing. Some people, the genetic elite, have abs underneath, and the reality is those people are working abs too. So if you're doing a barbell squat or a deadlift or doing these movements that require a lot of core stabilization, you're still working your abs there. You're working through your core, you're keeping it tight so that you're still recruiting those fibers. So technically you still are training them, you're just not isolating them and training them directly. My tip has always been, and I get comments on my abs all the time, purely because of the way they sit. I don't know if I can see on the photo, but you can see there's a gap in between. That for me is largely genetic. I have that gap in between that's split through my abs. But the 3D-ness that comes in on the other sides is from isolating them and training them. Personally, I don't train abs at all anymore, unless I'm 6 weeks from a show or from a shoot. But there was a time in college for about 3 years when I had an ab day. I literally went into the gym and did an ab day. People go in and do chest days or bicep days or arm days. I went in and did abs. So I have a repertoire of movements for abs because I had to keep changing the program. So I started to build a 3D look into them. So anyone that ever looks at my because I get these comments, just go through my Instagram, go over to my Instagram and you'll see them. People are going, fucking Photoshop your abs. Or you'll get all these other kind of weird comments. It's from training them so hard for so long and from hitting them from different angles that they've developed and hypertrophied the same as any other muscle. They built around the program that I designed for them. So training them, different movements are going to work your abs. So remember, anything that you're bringing your head to your body's kind of going to be more focused towards the top part of your abs. Anything where your legs are coming towards your body, that's going to be lower part of your abs. And then anything to the side is going to be obliques and serratus. So you want to hit it from all sides. The same way as when you're trying to bring up, your chest, you hit it from the incline, flat and decline. You're trying to bring up your back, you hit pull downs and rows. The abs are the same. Hit it from angles where you're hitting the top, hitting it from the bottom, hitting it from the sides. That's what brings out that detail. So make sure your training program is in line with this. You could go in, if you're really, really trying to bring up abs, go in and do an ab day. I did abs and high intensity cardio. Like, they're two of my days in contest prep or when I'm prepping for shoots. And when I was in college, I would go in and do, it was 30 or 40 minutes of ab workouts, same ranges, working a little bit higher rep range because the muscle fibers in your abs, similar to your calves, are fast twitch fibers. You're better to hit them with a little bit higher volume and work on the tension. in a higher rep range, so 15, 20 reps. Sometimes I go as high as 100 reps on abs, but I'm keeping constant tension on it. The biggest mistake that I see people doing with abs is banging out fucking reps. You know, I've got young lads come up to me in the gym and they're like, "Oh, I'll do fucking 200 reps on a crunch and I've still no abs." I'm like, you're not doing 200 reps in your abs, really. You know, you're doing 200 reps in your fucking necks or your traps or your hips or something, because you're not working any tension on the muscle. I can do about 10 reps crunches, body weight or on a ball, before I have to take a breather and let all the air out of my stomach because of the tension on my abs. That's working your abs. If you're doing 100 of those reps, you compound that over fucking 6 weeks or over 12 weeks or over 6 months, you know, that's a lot of tension on your abs. That's going to get them in a lot of detail in there. So make sure that you're training them properly. As I said, your body fat needs to come down in diet, but that's not really how you get like really good abs that are detailed and 3D looking. You get it from fucking training them, you know, from hitting them in the right ranges, from making sure you're keeping tension on the muscle, not working your fucking hips and neck when you're doing abs. Keep constant tension on the muscle, and then work within those ranges. So, you know, I say I do 100 reps, but I'm doing them in blocks of 10 and 5s, you know, until I get to 100 reps. That's just for me, and that's always what works for me. So try different angles. I use things like TRXs, Swiss balls, medicine balls, cables. All of these things work. Some people argue that you shouldn't load it with weight. Depending on what range you're working in, it's fine. If you're still in that 15, 20 rep range, you're not going to build a blocky waist from using cables or using weights. You know, there's still a muscle. You have to hypertrophy for them. You just happen to get a better squeeze when you use body weight. It's the only preference, because people are like, you don't use, you'll get your abs will get all blocky and thick. It's like, I'm sure they will if you start working in that 6 to 8 rep range. And anyway, you're not going to be fucking doing a crunch with fucking 20 kilos behind your back. You should be only able to do body weight with it anyway if you were squeezing it hard enough. So hope this video helps. The main takeaway, if you want to get abs, is train them. Make sure you're hitting them from different angles. Make sure you're doing different things with them, and get your body fat low enough so that you can see them. So hope this video helps. Please like and share the page. If you've got any comments, I'll be replying for the next 24 hours.